I've been asking you since we've been talking is that we love to talk about our dreams and we want to go after them. And I think what I've learned from you and listening to your story is that there is a price that you have to pay sometimes. But before we get into that, I want to ask you, you had a really good job. You were doing so well in your career and you decided to leave all of that. Why?
The long version or the short version?
Yeah, short version.
No, I think there's many reasons and they were piling up as I was progressing into my career. But after I had a baby, my way of thinking totally changed and I realized how little time we have. And I was getting up at 4, getting to work at 5, working till 6, getting home at 7, never spending time with my baby boy who was 8 months at the time. And I also had a lot of trouble with my boss. We didn't get along well. It was always the same story and I know that I was doing more than I was getting paid for, but I was willing to do it because I loved what I was doing. I love my job. But in the end, so many things happened and I remember one year they didn't give me a bonus because I know why I didn't get the bonus. She didn't like me, I know that. But that's not what they said. And I just realized that I'm handing my destiny to someone else on a plate, and the fact whether I get a bonus for Christmas or not, whether my kid gets a nice present, is whether someone likes me at work or not. And I just thought that's no way to live my life. And I needed to spend more time with my baby and my husband, and I just said, well, I'm 30, I think I was 29 then, and I just said, well, what's the worst that can happen? And we wrote that down, and that wasn't so bad. We said, well, we'll be able to face that, so let's try. If we don't try.
But you were saying to me before, I mean, it sounds great what you're saying, but you were talking to me about how tough it was, because after that 3 months when you'd had that money that you'd put away had run out, you said to me, and somebody when I was telling your story, they were like, oh, that's very ironic for a food technologist, but you said to me there were times when you had no food at all in your house.
Yeah, I remember a time, and this was actually, it was one of the lowest points, but it was also a high point, because we decided from the beginning, when we do this, we're going to do it with a good intention, and we're going to be happy about it. And whatever's going to happen, if we're not going to die, we'll laugh about it, because
when you say we, I think people need to know you're talking about
my husband, yes, because he did the same and he also quit his job and we're doing this together. So we said we're going to get through it, and we'll laugh about it. If we're not going to die, we'll laugh about it. And there's an easy alternative. We can always just go around and get a job. So nobody's gonna die of hunger, but we won't do that until we've tried absolutely everything to make our dream come true. So yes, we had a situation one day where all in one day the car broke. We didn't have money to buy food, so we borrowed 200 Rand from the neighbors. Because when my husband, actually what happened is when he got to the fish and chip store, because we didn't have food in the house and the electricity was cut off, so he couldn't cook. So when he got to the fish and chip store and he wanted to pay, I think we had like 60 Rand or something in the card left. It didn't work, it said declined. So they had frozen the account and we're like, and then the guy gave him the food to go home, and then as he was pulling into the driveway, the car broke down and I was sitting on the porch, and I thought, why would he stop in the middle of the road? And he came back and he just looked at me and I'm like, what now? He says, well, the car froze, and the car just broke down, so I don't know what we're gonna do.
And you say to me that in that moment you just both laughed.
We started laughing. So we borrowed 200 Rand from the neighbors, and he went back he took the other car, so he went back to pay the guy for the food. And then we waited for the neighbors to go into the house because we were so embarrassed to ask them to push the car in for us, push the car in. And then we had like candlelight fish and chips, So that was it was great. And the next day a client came through and the money came into the bank and we could pay what we needed to pay.